And now I'm going to tell you about this new device I've been working on for a long time. It's called the Automated Intervening Machine, and it kind of helps us with lots of things that we can't get help with any other way. It's very handy. It's programmed to kind of to listen to people who aren't being very kind to others and gets them to stop it. Like, let's say, for example, some jughead decides to use numbers that aren't real, and they just get so annoying with others and never think about their feelings when they're told to stop. And so when they do that we just have to kind of make them feel foolish. And what it does is it tells them, excuse me, I believe you were told you can't use those numbers. You've been asked not to do that, so you need to listen, okay? It might sound annoying, but at least they'll be able to put themselves in the shoes of someone who really doesn't like their way of talking. And something else you want to always keep in mind. Yeah, you gotta make sure you do your share of the listening when people have asked you not to do something. It's also very handy if somebody's words ever get persistent and they don't ever think about how it upsets them. I mean, if someone's just kind of deciding on a situation by what they're used to it and they just keep on saying the same words, after the third time it's said, it always goes, stop that! You're just pushing on his buttons. You're making him look bad. Don't do that. I don't think you'd like it too much if people just kept pushing on you like that. I mean, he said no, and if you didn't hear him clearly, then obviously you just don't understand what's wrong. You're just lying about the fact that you can't hear well, and that's mean. You really should never lie about your hearing or understanding in things. Makes you look guilty, even when you're really innocent. Keep that in mind. It can also be pretty handy, like if somebody makes a statement that shows how smart they are, how much they know about things, but the one responding just chooses to answer like they don't understand and go through a lot of explaining, and so while it's listening, it simply says to them, "You can stop the explaining right now because he understands the deal. The statement was to see if he could do right, and the only answer he gets is either yes or no, and that's it. Either good job or not quite. I think you need to try again." Or let's say somebody is out trying to contradicting others, and just because they don't like the way things are and they patiently contradict, and what it can do is it can simply say to them, "You say you're sorry to him right now," and it'll tell him to knock it off. It'll simply tell him, "You don't contradict someone who says they don't do things. That's bad. That's not nice. Now you be." It kind of makes sure that they understand that it's really a misdemeanor to contradict anyone. Other things this can do is it's pretty handy in arguments. Like when an argument gets too loud where people are shouting, it makes a humming sound, kind of like what you would hear on something that's not on a channel. And when it gets loud enough, some of the people are going, "What's that sound? Boy." And then it simply says to them, "This goes off every time you don't use your indoor voice. You have to use your indoor voice if you're in here, or else, you're going to have annoying sounds." And that kind of arguing is a threat. A machine like this can also be very handy in a car. Basically, kind of stop passengers who are having arguments about things. It simply pulls the car over and tells them, "Knock it off! Cut it out! Right now! Or I'm going to take you to the police." It kind of scares them out of their train of thought. It's also very handy in catching an impatient parent or guardian who threatens to do damage to a child. It simply tells them, "You apologize to him right now, or I'll keep your car unstarted." And if they try to hit it, it'll just set off an alarm and tell the police. This machine is hard shelled, so anything you throw at it, anything you hit at it, or you shout at, it'll set off a wailing siren in the distance, and that'll tell you some police are coming, so you better watch out. I mean, a machine like this is pretty handy when somebody impatiently answers to a question that you're asking and tries to accuse you of a prank, and it'll say, "You apologize to him right now, or I'm going to turn you in for threatening. Shame on you." Or if somebody answers a question like you're stupid and just does it their own way without thinking after the question's been asked in a way that deserves yes or no, they just impatiently answer, say, "Excuse me? Maybe we should answer you that way and see how you feel about it." That question takes either yes or it takes no. It does not take your answer. Now, either do it right or I'm gonna leave your car stalled. It's pretty handy in being able to tell people who tell dopes who just act like they shut up consistently. It says, stop that right now, or I'm gonna tell the police. That is not okay. You don't ever dope like that. Shame on you. You gotta really stop and think. I mean, privacy may be a right, but when you treat people unkind, it turns into a privilege. So you gotta really think about it. This machine is actually installed by people with authority-related jobs, like patenting attorneys. If it's been reported that you've done anything cruel to others, you will be punished. If this machine catches you shielding anybody out or making somebody do anything, they'll say, do that again and you're gonna get, and I'll call the police and report you hurting someone. It also kind of does its job in stopping people from handling others in those ways. It gives more people who deserve the freedom to get it. I mean, people say freedom is not free, but that'll never benefit someone who can't manage situations like this. Freedom will have to be free for them or else they can't get it. I mean, you gotta understand, nobody has artificial abilities just for your unkindness, and that's that. So keep in mind, we're gonna listen very carefully. So this machine is installed, and when it's installed, that means, the screws are set in where you can't take them off, and they're electrically set, which means they control. That means if you take that off, all your electricity goes out. It's locked on, so that means it stays with you all the time, if you see what I mean. Well, good luck, everybody. I wish you the best. To order this, you go to Amazon.com, type automated intervening machine, and you'll see where they are. But that's really just for the patenting attorneys to order, if they ever have to.